Hello and welcome to World News on TVP World. I'm Marie Caso. Marine Le Pen, leader of the far-right National Rally Party, has been found guilty of misappropriating public funds in a pivotal trial that could impact her political future. The court's decision on Monday includes a 5-year ban from participating in elections, effectively ruling her out of the 2027 French presidential race. Le Pen, along with around 24 other party members, is accused of diverting over €3 million in EU funds to pay France-based assistance. The National Rally has dismissed the trial as a witch hunt. According to recent polls, Le Pen was considered a likely frontrunner in the 2027 French presidential race. Before the verdict, French prosecutors called for an immediate 5-year ban from public office if Le Pen is convicted, regardless of any appeal. However, judges have the discretion to accept, modify, or reject the prosecutor's request. Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski is in Madrid to attend the Big Five meeting, as it was now announced that the Weimar format will expand to include Spain, Italy, the United Kingdom, and the European institutions, focusing on the ongoing Russian aggression against Ukraine. Our reporter Sonia Agata-Biszczan is live in front of Madrid's Ministry of Foreign Affairs to tell us more. Good afternoon, Sonia. What are the key points of the meeting?
Good afternoon. Well, as you already indicated, number one, it is about strengthening European security, and number two, enhancing assistance to Ukraine. There's also a third point on the agenda, which we learned about informally, and it is about assessing how to exert pressure on Hungary. Hungary, which has been notorious for blocking Ukraine's efforts to join the EU. You also mentioned that this is an extension of the Weimar Triangle, a meeting that began in Poland last year. This is something that Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski also noted here. So right now at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have representatives of Poland, Spain, Italy, France, as well as Germany, UK, Ukraine, and there's the top EU diplomat Kaja Kallas present here right now. Radosław Sikorski noted that countries that are closer to Russia tend to spend more on defense. However, he also definitely welcomed the expansion of what used to be the Weimar Triangle, saying that it shows that countries recognize that Russia is not only a threat to the eastern flank, but to whole of Europe.
And I'm very glad that the main European countries appreciate that this is not just a problem for the eastern flank, but that Putin's aggressive intentions are a problem for all of Europe. And if it's a threat to all of Europe, then we need a European way of addressing it. Russia is not only bombing in Ukraine, it is conducting a hybrid war against all of us. Here in Spain, there is disinformation, there are attempts at political manipulation, but in many countries we also have other elements of hybrid war just below the threshold of kinetic action. In Poland, we've had arsons, we have espionage, we have the cuttings of energy and data cables under sea. We have aggressive propaganda. All of this needs building European resilience, and we need to treat defense, the rebuilding of our defense industries seriously.
And just to say a couple of words about Spain, the host country. Spain is investing about 1.3% of its GDP in defense. In comparison, Poland dedicated 4.7% of its GDP for this year. So in comparison, Spain is investing considerably less. However, we learned that this is one of the main reasons why Spain really wanted to host this meeting, to show not only the good weather to its European allies, but also to demonstrate that it really is serious about defense. Back to you.
Thank you, Sonia. Sonia Agata-Biszczan reporting live from Madrid. A Warsaw court has decided not to arrest Poland's former Justice Minister Zbigniew Ziobro from the Law and Justice Party. The request to arrest Ziobro came from a parliamentary committee investigating opposition wiretapping under the previous administration. The committee requested the arrest of Zbigniew Ziobro following its fifth unsuccessful attempt to question the former justice minister. Allegedly, Ziobro was involved in the misuse of mobile phone spyware. The committee wanted the former minister to be arrested for 30 days, during which he would be available for questioning. The court has decided against his arrest. Zbigniew Ziobro is also being investigated in a public money misappropriation case. Last year, police raided his separate houses to look for evidence. A treaty on mutual security guarantees between Poland and France is being finalized. The agreement is expected to be signed by the end of June in the French city of Nancy.
The Polish-French treaty is an updated version of an agreement signed in 1991. According to Etienne de Ponsa, the French ambassador to Poland, the new version of the treaty aims to significantly deepen ties between the two countries. He also added that the previous document is outdated and no longer reflects the reality of Poland as a key EU partner. While the agreement aims to impact all areas of cooperation between the two EU member states, the French side intends to focus on defense and energy collaboration. Poland will be the first country which does not share a border with France to sign such a high-level agreement with them.
Now on to news from Lithuania, where following a 6-day operation, an American armored vehicle has been recovered from a peat bog in eastern Lithuania. The Lithuanian defense minister has said that the extraction lasted 4.5 hours after 2 ropes were attached to the vehicle.
So far, there's no information about the crew of the M88 recovery vehicle, which consisted of 4 American soldiers. During last week's exercise at a military training area near the Belarusian border, the US Army vehicle, one of the largest armored recovery vehicles in use by US military, got stuck some 4 meters below the surface of the water and under 2 meters of mud. As part of the nearly week-long operation, NATO forces set to build and widen forest roads, as well as strengthen the banks of the reservoir in order to transport heavy equipment on site. American, Lithuanian and Polish soldiers took part in the rescue efforts.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk and his Minister of Defense Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz will sign a deal on Monday with the United States regarding the delivery of logistical support for the second phase of the Vistula program. According to Kosiniak-Kamysz, the agreement will allow Patriot launchers in Poland, which are the central element of Polish air defense, to become fully operational.
The deal with the United States involves logistical and training support for the Polish armed forces. According to the Polish defense minister, Poland is heavily investing in security and is the second country after the United States to acquire the newest Patriots, equipped with an integrated air and missile defense battle command system. The main goal of the Vistula program is protection against tactical short-range ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, bomber aircraft and unmanned aerial vehicles.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has urged the United States and its partners to increase pressure on Russia in order to break its capacity to wage war. In his nightly address on Sunday, Zelenskyy said that Vladimir Putin couldn't care less about diplomacy, as is evident by the number of recent Russian airstrikes targeting civilian infrastructure.
The geography and brutality of Russian strikes, not just occasionally, but literally every day and night, shows that Putin couldn't care less about diplomacy. For several weeks now, there has been a US proposal for an unconditional ceasefire, and almost every day, in response to this proposal, there are Russian drones, bombs, artillery shelling, and ballistic strikes. Russia deserves increased pressure. All the tough measures that can break its capacity to wage war and sustain the system that wants nothing but war. Sanctions against Russia are essential. More air defense for Ukraine is essential. More cooperation and unity among all partners is essential. We expect that the United States, Europe, and all of our other partners who genuinely seek peace and guaranteed security will use all the necessary tools. Everyone needs diplomacy to succeed, except Putin. Therefore, pressure must be applied to him for diplomacy to succeed and for people's lives to be saved.
Moscow and Washington have begun discussions on potential joint projects involving rare earth metals, with a focus on mining in Russia and Russian-controlled areas of Ukraine. Kirill Dmitriev, Russia's special envoy for international economic cooperation, recently confirmed that talks are in progress and some companies have already expressed interest, though details remain scarce. These discussions could be further explored in the upcoming US-Russia talks reportedly set to take place in Saudi Arabia in mid-April. The move comes after Vladimir Putin's February offer to work with US companies on rare earth mining, as the US looks to counter China's dominance in the sector. US President Donald Trump has shown interest in Russia's resources, with discussions about potential deals on minerals, including in occupied Ukrainian territories, already underway. While on board Air Force One, US President Donald Trump expressed dissatisfaction that his Ukrainian counterpart might be attempting to renegotiate the rare earths agreement with the United States and criticized Vladimir Putin's demands for the installation of a transitional government in Kyiv. When asked about a potential nuclear deal with Iran, the US president also hinted that he is considering military action to achieve his goals.
Some of the things that were said over the last day or two having to do with Zelenskyy, because when he considers Zelenskyy not credible, he's supposed to be making a deal with him, whether you like him or you don't like him. So I wasn't happy with that. But I think he's going to be good. And I certainly wouldn't want to put secondary tariffs on Russia, but if they were put on, it would not be very good for them. And I think Zelenskyy, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal. And if he does that, he's got some problems, big problems. We made a deal on rare earth, and now he's saying, well, you know, I want to renegotiate the deal. He wants to be a member of NATO. Well, he was never going to be a member of NATO. He understands that. So if he's looking to renegotiate the deal, he's got big problems. We're going to make a decision on secondary tariffs on Iran based on whether or not they're going to make a deal. If they're going to make a deal, then we're never going to put secondary tariffs on. We're going to hope they have a great, long, and successful life as a country. But we'll see what happens. It's very interesting. I can't imagine them doing anything else but making a deal. I would prefer a deal to the other alternative, which I think everybody in this plane knows what that is. And that's not going to be pretty, and I do not prefer that.
Russia launched another drone attack on Ukraine on Sunday night, lasting into Monday morning, targeting the Kharkiv region of the country. At least 3 people suffered injuries.
6 explosions were heard in the Kievsky district in Kharkiv, according to local residents. One drone hit a local business, igniting a massive fire that covered an area of 3,900 square meters. The explosions also damaged apartment buildings, a kindergarten, a culture and sports center, and several cars. Emergency services were deployed to deal with the aftermath of the attack. Rescue dogs were also involved in the efforts.
Moving to Asia now, India and China have sent relief supplies as well as rescue personnel to Myanmar in order to support the country after a deadly earthquake. The magnitude 7.7 tremor has killed more than 1,700 people, injured a further 3,400, and was felt as far as Thailand and southwest China.
Responding to the catastrophe, the Red Cross and Red Crescent launched an appeal for $150 million to help victims of the earthquake in Myanmar. The tremor's aftermath has been classified by the World Health Organization as a Grade 3 emergency, the highest level under the WHO's emergency response framework. Accordingly, the organization is asking for $8 million to deal with health challenges in Myanmar over the next month.
And that wraps up World News at 2 p.m. Thank you for joining us, and stay tuned for more on TVP World. Goodbye.